1v1, Green Tooth Gorge, blue side. It's Tex, plays a Force Commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. This is the pre-Heresy Lunar Wolves elite scheme. And red side, it's 3 times monthly One Ball Tournament champion Toilailee, plays a Chaos Sorcerer, offensive and disruptive commander. Some very good manipulation and control abilities. Begins in melee combat. Some really good offense as well, I think. Double heretics for Toilailee. Yes, it is. Force Commander's pretty good at dealing with heretics, especially default heretics. If he gets his Iron Halo and Artificer, he becomes a real pain in the ass. Can kind of bog them down in combat and wear through them slowly with all the sync kills going off, giving them massive resistance as he does them. You need to be careful with these scouts. He only has 1 scout squad up here, Tex, which suggests he's not going to get another straight away in a way. Are we going to see double tactical marines? Heretics are split, which is generally a good idea. I think you don't want both squads getting hit by a shotgun and then the Force Commander wading in and you're taking all sorts of losses. You might keep those heretics over on that west side there to kind of patrol it and try and decap these deep points here, the power and the wreck, which hasn't been taken yet. Scouts forced off, got pretty close to losing a model there. They are pretty fragile early on. There's 420 hit points across those 3 models. Infantry armor, there's the Kraken bolts from the tactical marines, gives them 20% more damage versus heavy infantry for 10 seconds, and Chaos Space Marines are heavy infantry. So a little burst of Tzeentch worship to get them out of trouble. Tzeentch worship infiltrating allied squads, but not the squad doesn't infiltrate the heretics that are worshipping, so you need 2 heretics to infiltrate everything. We do have shotguns up as expected. Really bad news for default heretics. You get that knockback and suppression, and then if they move forward they do a hell of a lot of damage close range. Heretics losing a model, perhaps lucky not to lose another. Now come the Chaos Space Marines with their bolters. That's heavy cover though that the scouts are behind, and we do see double tactical marines from Tex. So he's going to have the big advantage here in this engagement, shooting the crap out of those heretics. He might lose his squad here, Toilailee. Just about gets them out. A good Doom Blast and a Shotgun Blast on the Chaos Space Marines. Now the Force Commander is chasing them down, and heretics in amongst tactical marines with Sorcerer support, but they see them off. Tactical marines are no slouch in melee combat themselves. That was a really good Doom Bolts. Marines very lucky not to lose a model there. Down to 205 hit points with 3 models, and in the end a very good engagement for Tex. He did not lose a model at all. Toilailee going for some Raptors. Chaos can sustain quite heavy heretic losses in tier 1, but once you get to tier 2 and you want to start getting anti-vehicle out and progressing your game a bit, heretic losses can become a real nuisance because you want to get out bigger stuff. Here are the Raptors, jump troops with chainswords and bolt pistols. These guys will suppress nearby enemies when they land. Very, very useful, and some good damage on them. 30 DPS per man, I think, in melee combat, or per marine, whatever. Some more Tzeentch worship, no upgrades yet for the heretics. Might see double grenade launchers to chain disruption on those tactical marines and do a real good amount of damage. Grenade launchers really hurt power armor. Chaos Space Marines with Eternal War pushing up this east side, going to go for the decap, maybe even a little power harass, and we do see Devastators up, and that is a very tempting target for these Raptors to jump on them and start smacking them around it. Force Commander might have to stay back and counter initiate, maybe get the power sword up. The scouts are going to be off tapping most of the time, it seems. Suppose he can try and focus them down with double Kraken bolts, tactical marine fire. Force Commander's getting his Artificer up, improves his energy and his health, and I think his health regen, but he's taking a lot of damage here. Getting too close, and we do see grenade launch heretics from Toilailee. 1 squad right now, the other squad is where? Coming up from the rear, ready to worship. Has he seen the Devastators? I think he has. 498, 426 early on, with 221 for Toilailee. Sorcerer's coming towards the east side, might see a big Doom Bolts go off in his blob of Marines. There's the jump, he commits to it, just forces them off and switches targets, and you see that secondary jump, the suppression cacophony kind of effect goes on for a couple of seconds. If you get that second passive leap, you can suppress another squad that's a bit of a distance away, and you saw it there. But again, Tex does not lose a Marine. 463, 426, triple cap for Toilailee. Some good pressure here, but Tex he's weathering the storm in terms of losses. Force Commander's all by himself here. There's that Iron Halo, real bad news for Heretics. And as you can see, he's just backing his Heretics off there. Now he moves them in. Might be a good idea just to Doom Blast and then back off to suppress this guy. But he forces him off. Just tried to hold up that power harass, I think. Scouts, meanwhile, have taken Toilailee's natural on that west side. There's the Doom Bolts, but it is largely ineffectual since they retreated as soon as they saw it. I suppose it affected the retreat. Heretics in retreat themselves. Those guys still without an upgrade. Eternal War CSM really piling damage on these Marines out of cover, and they're forced to retreat again, but still no losses for Tex whatsoever. Scouts capping mid, and this is, what is it called again? Warp Rift? Yes, Warp Rift. Scouts just going straight back to where they were. 403, 426. And the gens are going down completely here. Toilailee has triple gens up himself, and Raptors are going to be ones to retake this VP. No, moving up the west side. Yes, they are turning back to cap it. All gens go down power node. Repurchase scouts, forcing off the Sorcerer with their shotguns, no doubt, but they're going to get shot up here if they're not careful. The Heretics getting 4 modules with the grenade launchers, and since 4 of them are dead, the 4 remaining will all get grenade launchers, not the auto guns, which are recently buffed, of course, giving them slightly more piercing DPS alongside that explosive grenade DPS. Tactical Marines both getting caught by the grenade barrage, what Heretics need to be very careful being chased down by that boltify there. Accuracy though, taking a hit as they were moving there. 365, 426, now we see double crack on bolts on the CSM. He's just trying to keep them in play. Is he going for the garrison? He is. Trying to stop this power harass if there is one. No sign of a flamer. Toilailee ahead on resources thanks to that successful power bash. That is Devastators on capping duty. CSM losing a model. There's the Doom Bolts flying in. Where's the Heretic support though? One squad is moving up. The other squad is idle, having capped that wreck point. And now the Force Commander's really starting to come into play. Look how much damage he's soaking up, but he did lose a Marine finally, Tex. Did he lose 2? No, he lost 1 Marine. There's that special attack from the Force Commander, that cone in front of him. Heretics trying to shoot him down with their auto guns and grenade launchers, and they're duking it out here. Meanwhile, Scouts being chased down by Heretics. Where's the Doom Blast? Not doing it, and doesn't get a model. Probably would have if he Doom Blasted, but maybe he thought he lost enough Heretics. For now, tier 2 for both players going pretty much the same time. Toilailee going earlier. Don't think we're going to see a Blood Crusher with all of this stuff around. Bloodletters would be the obvious choice, I think. But Tex, I mean, he has a strong army, double Tactical Marines, Devastators. He could try and hold on here for the Dreadnought, which is a game changer unit. Here come Scouts to harass the Heretics. Gonna wait for them to push in before they shotgun blast, and they don't even shotgun blast. In fact, Doom Blast goes off. Those guys got a Sergeant now. They have a Fragmentation Grenade, 357, 393. Raptors getting their aspiring champion who gets a Power Fist and Melter Pistol. He is pretty mean. Devastator's backing off, and it is a Blood Crusher from Toilailee. Wow, was not expecting that. Maybe he's trying to force Tex into getting missile launchers or the las cannon. It would make sense in that regard. Tex might get a Power Fist, also has a lot of options to deal with this thing. But can he deal with it? He'll have Warp to get it out of trouble, which apparently often fails on Blood Crushers, we'll see. But he also has double Heretics to worship and or repair. There is the Warp Rift, but it won't teleport retreating units. Raptors moving in, aspiring champion doing his thing. You see that Melter Pistol going off there. That's good damage to all targets, much like the Power Fist, which is a heavy melee weapon. There you see it swinging. Very slow attack speed, but big chunks of damage per swing. 1-to-1 cap, still very tight on VPs, and a Librarian on the way for techs. Smite those heretics into oblivion. CSM back at base. Heretics on capping duty. This squad I should say, is going to be used to support this Blood Crusher, which is moving in a demon with vehicle armor. It's basically a Bloodletter riding a Juggernaut with a Hellblade. Does really good single target heavy melee damage. Has good mobility but only 600 hit points. Bang! There's a las cannon getting a shot in. Raptors will tie it up. It does have that for him. The Raptors there to tie up Marines or Devastators. Tactical Marines or Devastators, I mean. And are they going to get away without a loss? Force Commander coming in. Retreat Grenade. Nicely done. Really nicely done. Takes out 3 models. I think 2 on the blast and a shotgun hit took out the 3rd. Ouch. Toilailee now with some Havocs. Good choice. Zinc Shrine mid. And it is a Power Fist up for the Force Commander, but he is hard snared by the Chains of Torment. You need to destroy this central mass. And as you can see, the area of effect is quite large. His Tactical Marines way back here affected. And finally it wears off. He didn't actually attack the central mass. Really interesting engagement here. Force Commander going straight after the Heretic, trying to take them out. They are worshipping that Blood Crusher and they are forced off. There's now no Heretic support, and Toilailee responds by backing off his Blood Crusher. That's Cannon, I don't think, got a single shot on the Blood Crusher. It's shooting down the Shrine. Shrines do have 500 hit points, so they don't go down that easily. Now the Blood Crusher has support coming back out into the field. Raptors replacing their aspiring champion, which they lost to that grenade. Librarian, that awesome special attack, kills a Heretic and runs away. The Raptors being nasty with that jump into combat, almost finishing off the Force Commander. It's 2-1 for Toilailee. We have an aspiring champion up for the Chaos Space Marines. Gives them a leader model with good melee and range damage, but doesn't offer much else to the squad. 290, 393. Just makes them more solid all in all. It's a good job versus regular infantry. 284, 393. Double tax behind cover. Quite low on health, but still have 3 models, and Alaskanen is covering if that Blood Crusher decides to make a run for it, but I doubt Toilailee is going to do that before he knows it's tied up by the Raptors or something. We have the Rod of Warpfire as well, which is another option to disrupt the las cannon from range. On-demand disruption is always a really powerful tool. 268, 393. I would have thought he'd go for double Grenade Ultra Heretics, but he still has 1 default squad. And a Dreadnought on the way for Tex. This is going to be a massive deal. He does have some Havocs, and they have Michael Korn auto cannon. The Dreadnought should be able to march in and duke it out with those guys. He might get the he's already got the Iron Halo, so he probably won't get the teleport right now. Never know though. Librarian could soften up the Havocs with a smite perhaps and force them off. There's the smite though on the Chaos Space Marines. These guys still level 1, the Tactical Marines both level 2, and here comes the Dreadnought. Is gone for the Multi-Melter, very powerful close range weapon. Incredibly dangerous to all targets. Will shoot down that Blood Crusher pretty quickly, and still retains around 73 heavy melee DPS, but does lose the splash. Keeps his special attack, as you saw there. Blood Crusher getting absolutely owned in melee combat by this thing. He will occasionally fire off his multi-melter while he's in melee combat as well. The Blood Crusher taking damage. That Power Fist Raptor really doing a good job. That the Blood Crusher goes down. The Space Marine Dreadnought losing its melee resistance once it gets a ranged weapon, which is why that Raptor was doing such a good job with that Power Fist. So he's forced off Toilailee but loses his Dreadnought, which was a big investment. Multi-Melter is 30 power, I believe. 100 wreck. So yeah, that was a massive investment. Toilailee now has Plague Marines on the field. Very durable squad with a missile launcher. Slow, but they do passively snare nearby targets if they get close enough. and their missile launcher also snares vehicles or large targets whenever it hits. 197, 393, las cannon devastators capping mid. His scouts are back at base, wants to send them towards the west side most likely. Let's warp rift on some tactical marines, causing all sorts of problems, and they are forced to instantly retreat. We do have a plasma gun up, 26 plasma damage, and both squads in fact with a plasma gun. That is a hell of a lot of damage to heavy and super heavy infantry, so those CSM might get shot down pretty quickly here. Plague Marines are actually regular infantry, not heavy infantry. They do have tons of health and health regeneration. It also means they won't take extra damage from plasma and power weapons, but it doesn't mean they take full damage from piercing weapons, which can be problematic. They take huge amounts of damage from orc shooters and stuff like the Stone Guard veterans Hellfire rounds are really dangerous for Plague Marines. There's a grenade, nicely done out of infiltration. Hits a Plague Marine, but they have 667 hit points each. They are able to stand up and continue bashing. Down goes a generator. Force Commander moving out, level 4. And there again is that Chains of Torment ability. Level 2 Sorcerer. The Central Mass destroyed that time by the Tactical Marines. Looks like it gave some XP as well. They leveled up Librarian with the Psychic Hood, so he can support his Devastators with that. But they have a las cannon, which is not so useful so far. In fact, he's going to use it to bash gens. There's the use. Or try to anyway, but look at this. Heretics with a Aspiring Champion moving in, and I think he has spotted it. But what is he trying to do here? Get in the garrison? No, he's going to try and retreat through all of this stuff. CSM forcing melee combat, and down they go. And was not a lot he could have done about that. Heretics on one side, an entire army on the other. Probably would have lost them either way. There's a Librarian smite. And Tech's going for another Dreadnought this time. What's he going to do? We do have Plague Marines. He's going to keep this one melee. Maybe even get the Assault Cannon, trying to keep it back and get those barrages off. Down goes a Space Marine model. That was the Warp Fire from the Rod of Warp Fire. Awesome ability, I think. The Demonic Summoning Global from the Chaos Sorcerer spitting out those Bloodletters. And if he was close enough, he'd be able to reinforce off that. Bloodletters dissipating back to the warp when they run out of energy, and the global is over. There's a warp rift again, and the Force Commander runs into it. 155378 is a 2-to-1 cap for Toilailee. The second Dreadnought for Tex on the field begins as a melee walk with those two very scary looking close combat weapons and a wrist mounted flamer, which can do a lot for you, and a plasma cannon for Tex. Good choice, I think, as well. Needs to be careful of that warp rift. Plasma cannon can stay way back though. Smite going in very nicely, hit on those Chaos Space Marines. That thing does pack a punch, doesn't it? Librarian now getting shot down. That auto cannon coming into play, and that's a lot of scary damage. Dreadnought marching into danger here, trying to tie up those Plague Marines, I would think, which are its biggest threat. That snaring missile launcher. Scouts taking shots here, trying to repair. And they stay in the field. No, they don't. Sorcerer was using his ranged attack. He gets a half decent one with the Rod of Warp Fire, I think, and help force them off. Plague Marines in retreat. Dreadnought needs some support here. Here come double tacks with plasma guns and that plasma cannon. Is he going to put it up on this ledge? Nope. No, put it at the opening. Librarian quite low on hit points and has found some heretics to smite, no doubt. Oh no, he uses Gate of Infinity to get his Force Commander into combat quickly. Nicely done. That's from the Psychic Hood. And now he's going to try and cap with him. Heretics in retreat. We did take that wreck point. And Sneaky Sorcerer on the east side taking the natural. Here comes a Dreadnought with the Assault Cannon is what he's gone for to have a word. Huge amounts of single target piercing DPS, as you can see there. Will also help suppress targets with some courage damage. But you do need other stuff shooting at them to suppress quickly. All weapons do courage damage, all ranged weapons, but just not enough to suppress on their own unless they are a specialized heavy bolter or something. Great unclean one on the way for Toilailee. That is a big deal because Great Unclean wants to have super heavy infantry armor, so they have huge amounts of resistance to piercing damage of this assault cannon. They will take a lot of damage from those double tactical marines though with plasma guns. 140, 355. Down goes that central mass thanks to the Dreadnought. And Scouts capping that side. There's the 2-to-1 protects. Or can he stand against a Great Unclean One? He might need another las cannon. I'm sure he'd love a Predator tank, but he's not even tier 3. There's a lot of red though. So we might see tier 3 into Assault Terminators here. 140, 345. Plasma cannon hits the Sorcerer. Toilailee no doubt heard it winding up there. Now the big tails of a plasma cannon is that sound, much like the Blastmaster Noise Marine. You can see the big chunk of damage that comes off them every time that plasma gun hits. Actually took a model there. Dreadnought moving in. Haven't seen the barrage yet. The range was reduced a few patches ago, so you do need to get a little bit closer. Here it is. Really bad news for Heretics. Almost wipes them out. In fact, only one model remains with 7 hit points. A really good smite as well. Fantastic offensive engagement for Tex. Really put the hurt on Toilailee there, and now he's spotted the Great Unclean One. Maybe Scouts are still chasing here. 140, 314. Scouts, he's forgotten about his Scouts. There we go, there's the retreat, and he must have seen the Great Unclean One now. Dreadnought in combat with Bloodletters, who do a lot of power melee DPS, which is adding up on this Dreadnought here without that melee resistance aura. And he's getting another Dreadnought. This might be a multi-motor Dread to shoot at the Great Unclean One, or maybe even a melee Dread to go toe-to-toe with it. Dreadnought lives but needs repairs. Scouts will be back at base to oblige. Great Unclean One does have that worship support. It is a demon, so benefits greatly from worship, and they're using its consume ability to eat a heretic and get a bunch of energy back to power its very cool abilities. Has Cloud of Flies, that massive vomit thing, I don't even know what that's called, and Foul Snare. Foul Snare often bugs out, especially for me. Especially if it seems to bug out the first time you use it all the time, and then after that it works. I think it's an animation issue. If you use it while you're moving, much like the Flesh Hook from Elixir Alpha and stuff. 140-273. Warp Rift to dislodge and disrupt things, but it misses. And he just gives up on it. There is the Foul Snare, and it works. Really cool ability of damage, disruption, and a stun. Here comes the second, or I should say the third Dreadnought, but the second Dreadnought on the field. And he's keeping it melee for now. The force one's going to go down in retreat though, bang. Plasma Cannon is getting shots on that big fella. Massive target to hit, of course. And he does have a lot of resistance versus that Assault Cannon, but it does do a lot of damage. But this thing's under worship, as you can see, its health flying up there. Now out of infiltration, and now back into infiltration. Is he going to cap mid? I suppose he can't with that Plasma Cannon there. 140-264. Has a look at this VP, but doesn't look what he sees. Might wait for more support. Here we go. He's going towards the east side, because that's where the Plasma Cannon is not. Really important positional game now, and Scouts using their mobility to get over to the west side. Have one Scout squad also repairing this Dreadnought. Great Unclean One going straight after it with that massive, deathly, unplaguing sword, whatever it's called. That was a special attack though, so completely missed the Dreadnought. Really annoying when that happens. I wish they'd find a way for special attacks not to happen when you're fighting a vehicle. 140-256. There's that Emperor's Fist, but down goes Dreadnought number 2. There's still one living with an Assault Cannon. Obviously he'll look back perhaps and conclude that he shouldn't have got all these Dreadnoughts. Maybe should have gone tier 3 for tanks and Terminators. 140-249. Toilailee with this massive roadblock in the form of a Great Unclean One for Tex to deal with. And how is he going to deal with it, especially with that worship support and a Chaos Predator on the way? That's not good news, because that can shoot down the Tactical Marine trying to shoot this guy. Should get Mark of Khorne for it, I think. 140-249. Mark of Khorne Havoc's moving up, and he does have the central VP, Toilailee, and there is the Scouts under infiltration decapping. Once they start capping, they'll be spotted, and that warp rift will miss. There it is. But he did decap, and now has a double here. Tex has both the naturals, but there are some CSM to take it back. He might need to keep something on this side because scouts are going to be really annoying decapping over there. Guys are kind of getting caught. Tex forgetting about this guy, and he's going to lose him. And that's a big deal because that was stopping stuff capping mid when it was there. Thrown up onto that ledge. 142.23 is a single cap game for Tex. Here is the Chaos Predator, and he is going for Mark of Pawn. Unfortunately for the Chaos Predator, when you get a mark, you can't do anything. Ouch. Took out 2 Tactical Marines on retreat with that cloud of flies. Does not spread though. There's a 2-1 for Toilailee now. Tex is going tier 3 and he has huge amounts of red to use a nuke, and soon after could get Terminators also. Is it the best position to be using a nuke though? The Space Marine nuke is not great versus large targets since they'll just move out of the beam without being raised up, and he's got a Predator tank and a Great Unclean One as his biggest problems. Maybe be more prudent to use that red on for the Emperor on his range stuff. Oh, he lost a Tactical Marine squad actually. Wow, he just got a level 4 squad though. His Dreadnought still being repaired, but Tex is very much on the back foot here. Toilailee trying to keep an eye on the west side. Our scouts are being sneaking, infiltrating through, and they're going to decap here. 101, 220, tier 3 on the way for Tex. Toilailee might want to be a bit more aggressive here and try and decap this east side. The Force Commander is there, level 5. He's still a massive threat with that Power Fist. No sign of the teleporter though, so he's not going to be doing that teleporting on rear armor and taking out the Predator. Deal. Warp Rift. And he puts his CSM in there and his scouts dislodged, his Havocs I should say, sorry. And they're going to cap. But they might eat a grenade here. 95, 220. Is it cap? Is it kicking off mid? No, just scouts decapping. Sorcerer is there. As soon as these guys stop, he might use that warp fire to disrupt them and do some damage. But they're still moving. He managed to decap mid. Plague Marine now on capping duty. Tex is doing his best to fight around his big threat of the Great Unclean One. Hasn't tried to engage it, especially losing that second Tactical Marine squad. Was that the Great Unclean One that did that? No idea. Chaos Space Marines, Chaos Predator I should say, is now stunned and taking rear armor hits. There's that massive vomit which will knock down a shielded hero, as you can see. But can he finish off this Predator tank? 7 hit points, one more swing, there it is, and down it goes. Did not last long, didn't even need his teleporter. Plague Marines have capped mid, now taking shots at this Dreadnought. That Zinch worship continues to be a factor. Great Unclean One's barely lost any hit points. Force Commander needs to be careful. Librarian needs to be careful now, running away for its life from the Great Unclean One. 70-215. Toilailee is slowly chipping away at the VPs. Tex has huge amounts of resources now, but what does he get? Is he saving for a Land Raider Redeemer? Really?
Understood.
Nope, here comes some Terminators. Must be Assault Terminators. Yeah. Thunderhammers and Storm Shields, but we might see Lightning Claws in these guys, because Lightning Claw Terminators can rip through these super heavy infantry super units, which is walked out of trouble by the Chaos Sorcerer there. Is he going to get Lightning Claws? He is. That will lower their health down to 4,500, since the shields give them 300 hit points. So 900 for the squad. But here are the Lightning Claws. Power melee splash and immense amount of pain for anything with infantry armor. Any type of infantry armor. There are some Chaos Terminators. He might go straight after those guys. Nope, he's going into the blob of stuff. But there is the Chains of Torment. No Tome of Subjugation, thankfully for Tex. That would have been really annoying. The Dreadnought gets away, kind of. 44 207. Down goes the central mass. And now these Chaos Terminators are in all sorts of trouble. Just 3750 hit points, which is quite low for a Terminator variant, and they're having to back off. So how long it took them to kill a model there, that was crazy. Now supported by the Veil of Time from the Librarian. 44,192. He's still chasing them down. Terminators laugh at turrets, but he is getting them out with the Gate of Infinity and going after the Great Unclean One. And he has some support here, Librarian and Force Commander also there to smack this guy around, or at least try to. Something's capping the east side though. It's Chaos Space Marines with Tex decapping mid, and he should finish up with a 2-to-1 hit. Terminator's now backing off. Use their teleport to get into combat, but it has cooled down, and there is another teleport. It might need to march these guys back to base because they've taken a lot of damage. 44,177 scouts trying to harass this Sorcerer as much as they can so it doesn't retake this VP. There is a 2-to-1 and more heretics on the field for Toilailee to replace the squad he lost and get that worship support back up. Tex now with a Predator tank. I still think he's very much on the back foot, but those Assault Terminators making a huge difference as you'd expect. And they aren't going back to base, they are capping the east side. Chaos Terminators with autocannon. Good damage to all targets from range, but no match for Lightning Claw Terminators in melee combat. Their power fists do a decent amount of damage though, recently buffed. There are the heretics ready to worship on command, and Great Unclean One is where? Coming back out of base. 44,134, triple cap for Tex. He really has capped up quickly. Toilailee a bit sluggish, deciding what he wants to do here. He doesn't quite know what to commit to this west side, I think, because there's tactical marines and scouts here now. He bolsters it up with the demonic summoning marines. Will just take the garrison. Scouts forced off. 44,101 kicking off mid. Terminator trying to cap. Here comes that power fist force commander though. The foul snare, wow, has a really big range. Iron Halo goes up, but he is forced off, was suppressed by the Doom Blast and all sorts of things. Double cap now for Tex. He's got Toilailee well below 100 VPs and now has a Predator tank. Vague Marines have finished, or rather given up capping for now. Where are these? Oh, they're going behind heavy cover to shoot at this Predator tank, which is getting repairs. Well, here comes the Great Unclean One. You see him in the background, that plasma gun, I should say, doing insane damage to those Chaos Space Marines. Look how low their health is now. Vague Marines might be wiped out here. On retreat, do they get away? They do. Rear armor hit from the Great Unclean One. 44-47. It's so close. 1-to-1 cap. Level 4 scout squad. Tex has enough for an orbital bombardment nuke right now. Ouch. CSM getting wrecked and are forced off. Scouts will retake it. 44-47. Tex in the ascendancy here. He's done such a good job avoiding this Great Unclean One, and as I said that, he takes down a Predator tank. Scouts are going to be shot to pieces by these Terminators now. But they do finish the cap. Can they get away? Force Commander in turn chasing those Terminators with Veil of Time up. So is easily chasing and getting a smack in. Here's some Zinch worship. And Lightning Claw Terminators will probably defeat around 100 Heretic squads or something. 2-to-1 cap for Tex. Got a feeling he's going to win this here. This Force Commander is such a problem now. He's got free reign to run around, but now he doesn't. Chains of Torment coming in. He's causing so much trouble though, chasing things down, doing huge chunks of damage at level 7. There's that massive vomit thing. Down goes a Lightning Claw Terminator, and there's an orbital on the garrison. I assume that's going to finish off the squad that's in there. Not sure how it interacts with garrisons. Doing a lot of damage to the squad, and down they go. One beam actually destroys his own generator, or I should say Toilailee's generator. Killed his own librarian though. And now he has very little on the field. 42-18, 2-1 for Toilailee. Now it's his to lose, I think. Tactical Marines trying to cap mid under Great Unclean One attack. Level 4, they are tanking like a boss. But they're going to go down here, I think. They finished a cap. There's a special. Wow, they finished a cap and live. That is amazing. And there's a 2-1 for Tex and a drop pod dropping another Tactical Marine squad late game. What a time to get these guys out. He's going to win this now, I think. Or is he? Scouts are taking the west side. Heretics going east. Lightning Claw Terminators are there though. Down to 2 models and very low on hit points. But there is the game for Tex. Wow, Tex losing 3 Dreadnoughts, still coming out on top. These Terminators making a massive difference when they hit the field. The Force Commander seemed to just grow in prominence as the game went on and become more and more of a problem. Tex, he didn't panic. He kept his scouts coming and harassing this VP. Toilailee seemed to struggle to deal with the scouts keeping on coming here. Maybe he should have kept the CSM over on this side. Plague Marine's got level 3 since they helped take out that Predator tank and all those Dreadnoughts, but not enough for Toilailee to win. The Great Unclean One was played around very well by Tex, I think, kind of slow, ambling around, didn't quite have the huge impact. He did help kill a bunch of stuff, but he wasn't the massive Death Star of pain to see out the game that I'm sure Toilailee would have hoped he'd be. And Tex did it. He kept on fighting, kept the pressure on this VP, played to his strengths, got his Terminators out and just wiped the floor with stuff. Thanks for watching guys, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.